Good evening. I'm Benita Swart, Campus Navigator for the IIE's-VEGA School in Pretoria. It is my privilege to welcome each and every one of you to tonight's postgraduate evening, focusing on our honours qualifications rooted in the field of design. A warm VEGA hello to all our current students who are interested in studying further, as well as our new prospective students interested in studying honours in graphic design or honours in interior design. You've made this gesture to attend and explore our qualifications, to better understand the content, to hear from our alumni about their experience, and to find out where their studies have led them. I'm very excited to introduce VEGA School to all the newbies and remind our current students what we specialize in, what skills you will acquire, and what your experience would be like. We welcome you to VEGA.
Ready?
I believe that video gave you a beautiful glimpse into our world. To add on to that, I want to give you context into the bigger VEGA picture. VEGA is an educational brand of the Independent Institute of Education. The IIE is the largest and leading provider of tertiary education in South Africa, comprising of over 40,000 students across SA. The IIE is accredited by the British Accreditation Council. The BAC accreditation assures our students that international best practices are provided to them. It also provides students with the opportunity to continue their studies across the globe. I want to share 5 key points which I believe is crucial when making your decision about where your postgraduate journey will start. These points will help you answer your questions about why study at VEGA. The first reason is that VEGA is ranked the #1 tertiary brand by the Lurie's 2019 annual officials rating. The IIE holds international institutional accreditation from the BAC. We are the only brand-focused school in the country and internationally. All business and marketing students are trained in innovation, and all creative students are trained in strategy, a big benefit that sets us apart. All of our lecturers are involved in industry and are therefore up to date with industry developments and requirements. And our strong industry engagement and industry-focused briefs, guest lecturers, real-life brand challenges, and industry immersions prepares you for the world of work. I hope tonight you will gain some insights and enjoy exploring our world. The evening will consist of 3 parts and will run until approximately 7:30. May the program overview presentations highlight the reason for your passion in design. May Lizette Carstens ignite your interest in our Honours in Graphic Design program. May Marietta Geyser spark your interest in our Honours in Interior Design program. May you recognize your need for studying further when Sandy Mbele and Tlolo Madiba interviews our alumni. May you gain understanding of our entry requirements and the application process when Stephanie Philander walks you through the next steps to become part of Generation Vega. And lastly, may you be reminded not to settle for a path that isn't your own.
Don't settle for a path that isn't your own. For a white picket one-way ticket. Say no to comfortable, to safe, the easy way. Don't aspire for 9 to 5, zero drive, wonder, am I alive? Don't settle for a job you want to snooze the alarm on. If it doesn't set your soul on fire, keep searching, you've got time. Don't settle for closed minds, signs of the times, for coloring inside the lines. Don't settle for regret, for okay, for good, for great. Why stop there? Be better, do better. Better design, better brands, better business. Then, better your best. Don't settle for being a supporting character in someone else's story, for playing it small, playing it safe, playing for the rule makers, the takers. Salute the game shakers. Then, become one. Don't settle for ceilings when the stars are in clear sight.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Lizette Carstens, and I'm the National Program Manager for Creative Brand Communication and Gamification at VEGA. And I would like to tell you a little bit more about our Bachelor's Honours in Graphic Design. So why would you want to do an Honours in Graphic Design? So in the last decade, the domain of design, or the areas that we as designers, and yes, graphic designers included, the areas that we work in and the kind of problems that we deal with has expanded quite a lot. And most designers, whether they're graphic designers, digital designers, product designers, or whatever, find ourselves dealing with complex problems which often require skills that are wider or different from only the skills we were taught in our undergrad degrees. And Honours in Graphic Design is going to prepare to deal with more complex problems and to work in multidisciplinary teams and even manage these teams if necessary. So if you look at the current landscape of designers in South Africa, you will see that doing an Honours in Graphic Design also gives you a distinct advantage in terms of building your career. We talk about different levels of designers, novice, advanced, beginners. That is usually where you would lie as a graduate fresh from varsity with your first degree. And you would enter industry as an entry-level designer and probably progress within a year or 2 or 3 to an art director or a mid-level designer. Usually the problem comes in when designers need to move into the space of expert or master designers, where we need to start managing teams and where we are dealing with more complex problems and have to work in interdisciplinary teams. And that is where an Honours in Graphic Design is going to give you a distinct advantage, because in our Honours program, you don't learn more design skills, but you learn about the general hot topics under discussion in the field of design today, such as environmental and social sustainability, things like accessibility, democratization of design. So you deal with all these complex, wide topics that are being discussed, and you learn how to apply them in your own discipline. You also get exposed to the theories of design management and how to run and manage a big design project and even a team of designers. So what does our program look like? So you will have, over the course of a year if you do it full-time and 18 months if you do it part-time, you will cover the following modules. For the duration, you will have a research module because an honors in any discipline requires competency in research. Even in design, it is crucial, and the type of research that designers do can be quite wide, but it's usually quite focused on users, so it's typically qualitative research. In your research module, you learn how to formulate a research question, you learn about different research methods and techniques, and you actually learn how to conduct research, interpret your findings, and contribute to new knowledge in your field. At the same time, you'll also have a module called Contemporary Design Discourse that looks at the wide theories of design. As I said, things such as sustainable design, accessibility, social innovation, and all sorts of current new theories in design, including even the fourth industrial revolution and design. Other modules that you will then deal with is design management and strategy, and that deals with the business of design. So it specifically looks at how design is used in business, how to explain to a client where design does add economic value, and also how to manage a design project and a design team from beginning to end. Then you also have two modules that are applied theory. So that is where you have the opportunity to combine your research skills and your knowledge of contemporary design discourse in two modules called graphic solution design, where you deal with complex real-life problems and you design solutions to these problems. Some of these projects will be in groups, and then some of them are also individual projects. You also have the option then to take whatever you've done in your research project and combine it with graphic solution design B and actually create or design the solution that you researched in your research module. So doing an honors in graphic design would enable you to enter some of the following jobs: senior graphic designer, illustrator, an art director, design manager or design entrepreneur, a design researcher, or even a studio manager. You could also become a UX designer, information designer, or an experiential designer. So it opens quite a lot of opportunities in terms of jobs for you. So I would like to take you through some of the exciting work that our students do. Let's first quickly look at the honors in graphic design entry requirements. So you'll need an appropriate bachelor's degree or an appropriate advanced diploma, provided that a 360 credit diploma or appropriate exam has been completed. You need to have a minimum final year average of 60% in your previous qualification. And if you've got a minimum average of between 55 and 59%, we will consider admitting you. If you attain 60% or higher for your designated cognate or core or main discipline, so for example, your design module in your undergrad degree. All candidates are also required to submit a portfolio. So what will you be doing in an honors in graphic design? Here are some examples of the work that our students regularly do in the graphic solution design modules. There's, as I said, quite a strong focus on design for social good and social innovation, and some really worthwhile topics and problems that students deal with. In this project, students worked on a campaign to raise awareness about diabetes and how to manage diabetes. It was done in groups, and they worked with the client on coming up with a solution. Another lovely project was working on road safety system for cyclists. Every year, a large number of cyclists get injured or killed in road accidents because of vehicles passing too close to bicycles. So this campaign was lovely in that it raised awareness and it actually brought it to life in a very real way. If you look at the image in the middle, the students created pop-up cardboard figures which they put in lanes next to the road, and then, for example, on a bridge across the road they would say, if you pass these people and they fell over, you were driving too close and you would have endangered a cyclist. So the whole campaign was on making people aware of safe driving with cyclists on the road, but in a very real and tangible way. Another project that students worked on was a career guidance campaign aiming at getting students to question who they are and seeing the possibilities. And what they did was they created a range of posters, as you can see here, with different career options. And instead of putting in the people's faces, they put in mirror decals. So a sticker with a mirror. If you looked at the poster and it was put up at eye height for kids, they would see their own face. So the whole idea of seeing the possibilities of what you could become. Some of the projects that our students worked on as part of their research or as an extension of their research project. A lovely example, UI and UX research project. This student did research on how to use the principles and elements of design to promote a good user experience when designing the user interface for an app. So he explored all the different principles and elements of design and tested with users to see what worked best, and came up with a whole system for an app interface, looking at various icons, colors, and symbols and typography that would promote a good user experience. So he wrote up a whole research paper and then applied what he learned in his research paper in a project. This was one of my personal favorite projects. It's a student that explored visual identity, gender stereotypes, and audience participation. And what he did was he photographed himself and photoshopped the photographs to portray different genders and different types of stereotypes in the genders that he displayed. Then he had an exhibition with the posters, and he asked audience visitors to the exhibition to write on the posters what they thought of each image, or what stereotypes it evoked in their mind. And based on that, he then did his research findings and critically looked at gender stereotypes and visual identity. So another lovely example of a project that wasn't limited to only work on paper was this project of a student that looked at the rejuvenation of a suburb, Orange Grove in Johannesburg. The student grew up in the suburb many years ago and had fond memories of the suburb, but felt that it had decayed quite a lot over the years. So when he started out with the project, his aim was to look at how he could use design to actually gentrify and rejuvenate the image of Orange Grove. Interestingly enough, during his research, he spent a lot of time in the suburb and engaged with the people that live and work there at the moment, and it actually changed his perception of what he thought was a decayed suburb. He discovered that there was a very lively community that was very vibrant, with diverse cultures and diverse views of doing things, but that it was actually quite an interesting place to be in. So during the course of his research, he changed the aim of his project from trying to gentrify the suburb to creating a visual identity that would actually reflect the real character of the suburb. After he completed his research, he then applied his findings to actually redesign the brand identity of Orange Grove. And he created a whole lot of collateral on which he actually applied the brand identity. So as you can see, it ended up being a very real modern brand identity, but very much reflective of the suburb or the area in which it exists. This project was also quite a lovely project in that it dealt with accessibility. The student also combined her research and her design projects. And she started out by looking at packaging and how accessible packaging is for older people. So she looked at how deteriorating eyesight and problems like arthritis or stiff fingers might affect older people's ability to actually engage with and work with packaging. And she also came up with quite a lot of interesting findings. First of all, that the participants in her project, she actually co-designed with elderly or older people. And they made it very clear that they objected to being called elderly. They preferred to be referred to as senior citizens. So she worked with them and first looked at the problems, the physical problems they have with engaging or working with packaging, and did research on that. And then she involved them in an actual workshop to redesign the packaging of shampoo and soap bottles so that it would be more accessible and user-friendly for them. And one of the interesting findings that came out was that it was not only important to senior citizens that the packaging be easy to handle, but also that it is environmentally sustainable. So at the end of the day, her research outcome resulted in the design of sustainable, environmentally friendly packaging of soap and shampoo products for senior citizens. This project was also the outcome of one of our students' research. She also used some of her own customers to actually participate in her research. And this is a very good example of a student that pulled together the knowledge gained from design management and strategy and the knowledge gained from design discourse and design research to create a range of products. She is a design entrepreneur and she used her design skills to develop a range of phone covers that would appeal to young South Africans. And she got some of her existing customers involved in designing what they would term their ideal phone covers, and then produced the range of covers, and she ended up featuring in Vogue magazine with her project. So this was a lovely example of absolutely pulling everything together and moving on to become a design entrepreneur. So that is pretty much the project I wanted to share with you. I hope this has inspired you to actively consider joining VEGA in our Bachelor Honours Program in Graphic Design next year. Thank you very much for joining.
Cool. So my name is Chulo Madiba. I'm the graphic design lecturer at Pretoria campus for VEGA and the IIE. And today we're joined here by a former student or alumni of VEGA, Bernard. Bernard, can you please just tell us about yourself, where you're from, and what you studied at VEGA?
Yeah, sure, man. I studied a bunch of stuff at VEGA.
Cool.
And I'm from Pretoria originally. I studied higher certificate in creative design. Then I did my creative brand communications degree.
Nice.
I did a year of brand diploma. Then I moved on to an honors in graphic design. Then I
Sheesh.
finally finished.
So you've got like the full Vega experience from that sense, like starting all the way from high certificate through to honors then.
Yeah, dude. I had to try all of it.
For sure. And how was it for you those years at Vega?
It was interesting because there was it was really great. There was a lot of really cool people, first of all, and staff and so on, and a lot of cool experiences. And it really took me from learning the branding kind of side of it all the way through to doing creative work and
For sure.
all the way through to like finding the kind of job that I do now, which I didn't answer the first time you asked. I'm a UX UI designer full
Great.
time. I would say probably 80% UI design and the rest UX design. But yeah, no, it was lovely. I think
Nice.
I really enjoyed it.
Sure. So speaking of your current role, which you're saying is like UI, more UX sort of thing, how would you say, if you can see any sort of clear links between, Vega's preparation and how you've used that in your current role? Do you think you see any links? How has Vega prepared you?
Well, I mean, yeah, it was interesting, right? So like I started studying in 2011, right? And so there was like UI UX in South Africa, but it wasn't something that it wasn't something that I knew about at least until my like fourth year of study.
Sure.
And then it was still called like web design, right? So I think when I started studying, when I did a lot of this stuff, a lot of the schools focused on graphics and doing really good graphic design, which was great for me. But I really wanted somewhere where I could learn about the business behind design as well. And I think that was really cool for me, because then when I jumped into a very business focused, more business focused than maybe advertising, business focused environment, it was really easy for me to go, oh, cool, I get why you make this decision or why we can't make this decision. So,
Sure.
I think that was really great. I think having that really nice business perspective behind everything really helped.
Sure. I mean, I almost feel like you've almost tapped into like my third question for you, but I would just like, to put it out there for anyone who might watch this. You spoke about, the mix between business and creativity and those disciplines. So why should someone actually, study their postgrad studies at Vega? What benefit is there, do you see from that?
Well, there's the funny bit, right? So I went towards the full creative side for my postgrad, right? So I think my studies, and what made it so nice is it was really nice and broad, and I got a really good view of doing the CBC degree, the creative branding communication degree was really nice because you had a really broad overview of the creative industry, right? And so at the end of it, I decided for my postgrad, I wanted to focus on one very specific area, and I actually did all of my like thesis work and all of my extra work on UX and UI design, and very much like laser focused on that. And so I think if you really resonate with the business stuff and the branding work within your degree, definitely do that, and then focus and get really good at the one thing. Because I think the postgraduate, the Cape Town racing
Absolutely, absolutely.
no, so I think that really like 1 year to focus on whatever you want to be your craft, I think really helps.
For sure. And I think like you're saying, like in terms of really focusing, your portfolio in a particular way, just in that 1 year has had a big impact, because that's where you find yourself now. Whereas I think maybe before then you were more of a general creative. Would you agree in terms of your skill set?
Yeah, I always thought of myself as someone that could work anywhere in the like ad agency or a graphic design studio. I kind of still think of myself in that way, but it's I now, can tell someone this is my focus, this is what I do, right?
For
And
sure.
I can guarantee you that I do this well. But
Yeah,
everything
area of
else I
specialization.
kind of do. But yeah, no, I definitely, and I think before I started my postgraduate, I was in between two very different creative fields. I was always really interested in web design, everything on the web, but I was also really interested in video and audio and production and that side. So the graphic postgrad that I did was like that clear choice of now I'm going this direction and I'm focusing, and
Yeah.
it really helped. I think it clarified to me that the things that I love of one side and the other, and then I just incorporated the love for film and motion and stuff into animation within the UX and UI. So it's really like a year to like clarify where do you want to go and what do you want to do.
For sure. And then, just as a final sort of span in the works question. So, there's often a debate amongst young creatives, like, do you want to be, almost like a jack of all trades or like a master of one? Based on your experience and based on what you've seen, what is sort of like your recommendation to younger creatives to get involved immediately and see where they land? Or do you recommend really, picking an area and then trying to find places that accommodate that specialization? What's been your experience?
I think like there's a twofold answer for me, right? I think
Cool.
when I started, I think there was this really big emphasis of like I'm really good at Photoshop or I'm really good at these tools. But with what we do today, the tool is just that, it's a tool. So learning to like get really good at critical thinking and unpacking a problem and solving it, that's kind of for me the really important bit.
Yeah.
And I would say be really good at that, if nothing else.
Yeah.
And the other side of the thing is take a look at what you do in your group projects. That's what you're going to do when you're done. Like that's the thing that you're good at. And so I was always the web design guy in my group projects. I always did the app or the website or the social post or the weird microsite that we did. It was always me doing that stuff. And so that's how I knew that that's kind of the thing that I wanted to do. So I think twofold. I think don't learn your basics, which is really important, but I think more important is that ability to be like a critical thinker and like figure stuff out, because then you'll figure out how to use the tool.
Absolutely. Sure, man. Otherwise, Bernard, thank you very much for your time. This has been really insightful, man. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, such a pleasure. No, it's such a pleasure.
For sure, man. Thanks.
Hi everyone, my name is Marietta Geiser. I'm the Program Navigator for the Interior Design Program. So I've got the great honor of presenting the Interior Design Program to you, tell you what it's about, what we do at Vega, how we do it, and then at the end I'm going to show you some examples of student work and take you through a student project. I think at this point, if you've decided to join us for this orientation, you already have a good idea what interior design is. It's more understanding what is it that you're going to be doing next year when you do enroll in our program. So let me first take you through the presentation and then we'll have a look at the student work. So the Bachelor of Honours in Interior Design presented here at Vega. It's an IIE qualification, builds up upon our current degree that we have, which is our BA in Interior Design. So you can either go from studying a BA in Interior Design at our institution or come from another institution and enroll. There are certain requirements which I'll get to. So the purpose of this program is to basically deepen your understanding of the design discourse, understanding of the design discipline, getting a deeper feel for it. So we delve deeper into, because at an undergrad level, you have done research, you have done design, you have done a variety of projects. So we're building up on that and actually deepening your understanding of what it is to be a designer, what it is to be a designer in South Africa, and then also what it is to think further and develop and refine your innovative design skills. So this profession allows you then to become a senior interior designer, which I'll explain to you shortly, or a design lecturer even. If you want to be a design lecturer, you need a one-up qualification, meaning to lecture interior design. You need to have an interior design honors. So that opens up a new job opportunity for you as well. So if that's something you want to go into, honors is definitely the route to go. So we also focus on advanced design solutions, which I'll show you a little bit more what I mean with that. So let's get into it. Okay, so our governing body is the African Institute of the Interior Design Professions. If you want more information, you can go to their website. They're called the IID. So a lot of people ask, why do you need to study honors? Why do you need to further your studies? Is it not just enough to have a degree and go into the profession? It's more than enough to do it. But if you want to put yourself on another level, it is important that you further your studies, further your understanding of the discipline, and which I'll explain to you in the next slide what I mean with that. So the IID has got different membership categories. So they say that if you have a 3-year degree or diploma from an accredited institute, plus a certain amount of practical experience, you qualify and you can actually call yourself a professional interior designer. To get to the level of being a professional senior interior designer, you then need to have qualified from an accredited institution, which we are, either having a 4-year diploma or a 4-year full-time degree, which is the honors degree, which we are presenting, and with a certain amount of practical experience. Then to call yourself a professional interior architect, then you need to have a 5-year degree. So a 5-year degree is a master's degree. So to get you closer to being a professional interior architect, you need to have an honors, and then you're able to then go on to studying a master's if you wish to do so. So another reason to do honors, and you might see this in the graphic design honors presentation as well. The reason why we bring it in is it's such a easy and effective way to explain why you need to study further. Okay, so there's different levels to understanding and knowledge of your discipline. Okay, so you start off being a novice. That's your first and your second year. You're getting to know your discipline, what it's about. Moving on second and third year to a more advanced, but it's an advanced beginner in your field. Once you start working, once you've qualified and you've got your 3-year degree, we see you as competent or proficient in the field. The more you work, the more proficiency you build up, the more expert you become. So what your honors studies done, it immediately places you on a higher level. It places you closer from a competent designer to an expert designer. The reason for that is that the underlying theories that we deal with, the underlying discourse that we deal with, the advanced and complex design challenges that you are faced with, immediately places you on a next level. And why you need to be on that next level is you need to, some people want to become visionaries of their fields. Think of your Zaha Hadids, your Tom Dixons, your Philippe Starks. Becoming a visionary and it's easier to become that visionary if you have a deeper and greater understanding of your discipline, where we're coming from and where we're going. So to build up on becoming an expert, ultimately through practical skills, through theoretical skills. So you need to understand where we are. You need to understand that reading up on about the discipline, doing research in the field, just adds more substance to what it is that you're doing. So ultimately, and this is where we all want to be, is becoming a visionary in the field of interior design. So what we do at Vega is the course is structured as follows. So we've got a variety of modules. So you've got a research module, interior design discourse, interior design professional practice, and then interior design solution A and B. Now, the research, the first part of the course is set up where you have a subject called research methodology. So it's understanding the different methodologies of research, how to do research. You will also work on a proposal, then for a research report. This module you'll have with other honors students, not just interior design students. So you can learn from others in the field, graphic design honors students, and any other honors that we offer here at Vega. Then in the second part of the course is then something called research practice. So then you take what you've learned in terms of research, understanding your different methodologies, your different paradigms, and then implementing the research relevant to your field of study. So in research practice, you've worked on a research proposal, then you take that proposal with the aid of a supervisor. So a supervisor is then someone who works with you closely. So this is someone who is a researcher, a senior academic, someone with a master's degree who has already supervised in the past. So works with you to write this research report. Because it's a design field, design and research are a lot of times closely related. So you'll research for the purpose of design. So design as research, or research for design. So that is what you'll do in the module called research practice. So that's one stream that goes through the course. The second stream, which you'll then see, as interior design discourse. So interior design discourse is then understanding the theory of design. So there's a few things that themes that gets covered. It's the identity of interior design. So where we are as interior designers, where we've been, where we're going, but especially because we're in such a unique situation, where we are as designers in the South African context. We also look at human-centric interior design, the effect of design on human beings, the design for the South African socio-economic context, and then discovering opportunity for interactive and experiential design. Additional to that, we also look at sustainable interior design, which is a very important aspect in the field of interior design, especially where we are going and going off the grid or being more sustainable, thinking about passive ventilation, passive daylighting, etc. So that will be your discourse module. You will be required to write essays, for example, in that module. So there's a variety of things that you'll do. That will be the first part of the course. Second part of the course is then interior design professional practice. So this is then taking the discourse and putting it into practice. So what you're looking at is you're looking at interior design regulations, standards, all the rules of the trade. So looking at building regulations and your contracts and budgetary restrictions and your role players in a project. You're also looking at design strategy. So how do you create different strategies for your clients? How do you strategize with your clients? So it's that more deeper understanding of the practice of interior design. So it's not just how a project is run, but how do you run a project so successfully that you make a difference in a client's lives? We also look at, because a strong part of the course is also entrepreneurial skills. So how to plan a project, how to start up a design enterprise, how to deal with creative teams and projects. So basically running a project from start to finish. Okay, then the last stream is then interior solution design, and that's the example I'm going to show you. So that is your practical module where you are given a variety of design challenges to solve. So the first part, there are two projects. They are quite open. There's a lot of freedom in these design projects because we want you to start exploring who you are as a designer. What is your niche? Where do you see yourself going? But we have a general theme, usually like design for well-being or adaptive reuse. Then interior design solution B then builds up on that. It could be a project of own choice, which is tied up with your research. So it relates to your research. So it's a creative execution or solution to your research problem. And then so it's own choice. So we again give you more freedom, but ultimately work towards setting up a design portfolio, a professional design portfolio that you can then either start up your own business or go and find a work with. Okay, so that is your modules. Jobs in the field, like I said, senior interior designer, you can become an interior design lecturer. You can either further your studies as well, so become a researcher in the field of design, an entrepreneur starting your own business, interior design consultant, entrepreneur, business owner, starting your own design studio, etc. Okay, so just to quickly touch on your entry requirements. If you are uncertain, please speak to one of our contact navigators. They to assist with any queries. So in order to study interior design, you need to have an appropriate bachelor's degree. So that is relevant to the field of interior design. You can't have an undergrad, for example, in engineering. You need to have an appropriate bachelor's degree or advanced diploma, but it has to be 360 credit diploma. In order to qualify, you need to have a final year average of 60%. If you do not have a 60%, then please speak to your contact navigator and they can advise you accordingly. But this is to the discretion of our registrar. Then if you get between 55 and 59, you may be admitted if your core module, the core discipline module, is then higher than 60%. Not a guarantee, but like I said, please speak to your contact navigators if you're uncertain. But the safest place to be, make sure that if you're currently in your third years of study, that you have an average of 60%. Okay, we will always also be required to submit an interior design portfolio, which won't be a problem because most institutions require a portfolio at the end of their third year when you finish up your studies. Okay, so I'm going to show you some examples of student work. So these are just some of the topics that you are presented with. One, for example, was design for social good. So this you can design for human dignity. Then design for happiness was the other one. How can a space make you feel better? How can a space actually bring you joy? But I'll delve deeper now into these. Design for well-being. How can a space make you feel better, make you uplift a space that wasn't used before? How can you promote well-being through interior space? And then adaptive reuse. So how do you take an existing building and change its function to now be functional? So giving it a new function, giving it new life. Okay, so I want to show you an example of student work. So this was one project completed by one of our alumni students. She graduated in 2019. So they were one of the first cohorts. And I just think showing you this project is a good example of understanding what it is that we do, how do we approach design, because design is not just creating pretty pictures. There's a lot of research to it. So once you see what you do in the interior solution design, so this is your main module where we give you a design problem and you have to present solutions to it. So you'll see, I'm going to take you through it. There will be a lot of research that has to be done in order to understand the discipline better, understand the problem better, so that your solution is much richer and stronger. Okay, so this was This is the first project. So next year when you enroll, your first project will be Design for Wellbeing. That's the overarching theme. And you have to identify a space that requires upliftment or requires it to be regenerated or restored or reused to actually promote well-being. So the student decided then to choose, let me just get through the list of figures. Okay, so the student decided she's from Pretoria, to use Berea Park. So you start off with understanding your surroundings. So you do a site analysis, looking at all the different green spaces around it. For example, looking at your hiking routes around it. Now, this is relevant because the purpose of this project was to bring people into the site. So conduct research on the surroundings, understanding how the reserve links to the space. This is, for example, understanding the micro-locality of the space. So you see that it's not just immediately jumping into creating design solutions. This is understanding your site in terms of your views and your sun, your orientation, and how that's going to affect your design. Also, because it's in Pretoria, how the heritage will have an impact on your design. So heritage impact study is one of the research components that you'll do. Understanding how to bring value back to the site. So looking at the history of the site. Doing a thorough site analysis. So what's different about an honours degree is we won't give you these floor plans. We'll say go out, identify a problem, create a solution for it, and document the space. So this exposes you to real life projects, that gives you a lot more exposure to the industry, a lot more exposure to what it is that you'll actually do once you start working in the industry. Looking at the existing structure, there's more on the heritage of the site. So then the student had to do research on what it means design for well-being and how that will actually be implemented. So what was identified is the current site that I've just showed you is actually abandoned, and that there's a high crime in the area. So what can be done to actually use that building, but also ensure that it becomes a safe space, a space that people will use, and then basically uplifting the area by doing this. So sociably, you could encourage the use of a restaurant. There was an urban farm community. You can integrate the street. The multifunctionality of the street interface could create an opportunity for local merchants and businesses. So through design, you're actually uplifting a space, reducing crime. So that is the ideal of this project. So there was just a analysis of the surroundings, then looking at research into what is in urban regeneration, how do you add open green spaces, what are other problems in the area, for example, the fact that the river requires rehabilitation. There's existing pedestrian access, but as it's not a very safe space, people don't often use it. So how can that be utilized? So you'll see that it's not just designing the interior of the space. It's thinking so much more and deeper about what it is that we do as designers and how we can make an impact. So if you've studied interior design before, which I'm making an assumption that you have, as doing precedent study analysis, so you've done this probably a lot in your undergrad, looking at different precedents. So you'll see that there's a lot of, in honors, a lot of research that goes into your design before you actually start designing. And that's the difference between your undergrad and your honors, that it's deeper, it's a deeper understanding, it's delving deeper into the discourse. So this was the final design solution. Just some materials and furniture, obviously very important to understand the materiality of the design. Just some floor plans, but I'll get now to the final design solution so you can see what it is. So what the solution was is to create a restaurant area, a market to bring people into the space, interact with the streets, making the sidewalks and everything a little bit more interactive, to make it safer and create, vibe in the space. So that was the final solution. It was a restaurant. It was inspired. There was a lot of thought that went into it, a lot of inspiration and reasoning behind it. This is just to show you how amazing one of our students are. Actually, they're all amazing. What would be done with the entrance, the proposed users, how the street could be activated. This was, for example, an artist's impression showing if there's a market, what that would look like, how the old building was used, some of the inside, how that you can use the existing structure and how that would be implemented. Just a sightline from the outside. Artist's impression of the breakfast bar. There is just another view of that. Add that, and obviously always a list of references, just to show where your research has come from. So that is our interior design and honors degree. It gives you just an overview of what it's about. If you've got more questions, you're more than welcome to contact one of our contact navigators and they'll be able to answer all questions that you have. Thank you so much and have a great evening. Okay, goodbye.
Hello everyone, my name is Sandim Bele. I'm the Senior Contact Navigator for Vega Pretoria. Today I'm with Leah van der Walt and we're just gonna have a chat about her journey at Vega. Hi Leah.
Hi Sandy, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
Good, thanks.
Good. May you please just give us a brief introduction of yourself?
All right, so my name is Leah and I studied my undergraduate as well as my postgraduate at Vega, interior design. And yeah, my journey there has been crazy, impactful. It's changed my life. Yeah, so I'd say that's like the brief intro.
That is awesome. And tell me, when did you graduate?
I graduated my honors last year. So I graduated this year, but I finished awesome. Last year, studied last year.
Okay, all right. Now tell me something, what are you currently busy with?
So currently I am a freelance interior designer and I'm also a blogger at my own website.
Oh, that is awesome. And how has that journey been?
It's been great. I think my undergraduate at Vega definitely prepared me for the real life corporate world living. It gave me all the skills that I needed to work in an environment where you collaborate with other interior designers as well as architects. But I'd definitely say my postgraduate is what prepared me to go out on my own this year. It really opened my eyes to see how I could go out on my own, build my own wealth and reputation instead of just working at a company.
Oh, that is awesome. But now tell us a bit more. When did you start with the freelancing work? Was it this year or was it during your studies?
So during my undergraduate, I worked at a big corporate, the big one in corporate. And you know, you get a lot of experience, and I think it's super important to do that. But then after doing that, I studied my postgraduate. And after that, I decided, you know what, I think after learning so much about business and the industry, and especially doing my own research, it made me finally decide, okay, I'm ready to go out on my own now, which is what I've been doing since February this year. And since then, I've worked with amazing big companies that are listed on the JSE, you know, big. You don't think it's really going to happen to you and you don't think you can go out on your own, but then you just do it and you jump into it, and yeah, it's great. It's been great since then.
That is awesome, Leah. I hear you saying that you feel that the VEGA qualification gave you that preparation in order for you to be
Definitely,
able
yeah.
to get into freelancing and working with all these big corporate companies. Now tell me,
Yes.
would you recommend someone to come and study the postgraduate qualification, the postgraduate specifically honors in interior design at VEGA?
Yes, I think, you know, you've done your undergraduate and maybe you've gone out and you've worked for a bit and you're doing this interior design thing, but you realize there are actually so many different aspects within interior design that you could fall under. And for me personally, I fall under the technological aspect of interior design, using technology to present your designs. Specifically, virtual reality is what I went into. So I knew when I studied my postgraduate that I wanted to do my research in that. And that gave me the opportunity to go out, do the research that I needed to do to find out how I could contribute to the industry as a whole. And that's just crazy. It really, if you're a little bit passionate, you go out and do your postgraduate and you do your research in what you're passionate in. It really is just going to put you on that other level and it's going to set you way apart from anyone that's done your undergrad. Yes. So yes, I would recommend it.
That is awesome. So basically, with all the experience that you've gained, you still recommend that someone doesn't just stop studying at undergraduate, they continue with postgraduate studies.
Definitely, if you want to set yourself apart from everyone else and you want to niche down into something specific, like I did with VR in interior design, yeah, which is super important because I mean, these days you need to stand out somehow. You can't just, you know, fade into the background with everyone else, especially if you want to work in this industry. So yes.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing your story with us, Leah. It's good to know that the IIE-VEGA has prepared you so much to be so competitive in the industry. Thank you so much, and we wish you so well in the future. Hope we'll meet again very soon. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sandim Pele. I'm the Senior Contact Navigator at the VEGA Pretoria campus. And with me today is Talisa van der Merwe. She's a VEGA alumni. She completed her honors in interior design in 2019. Hello, Talisa.
Hi, Sandy. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you for making time to join us today. I'm just going to have a little chat with you just to tell us a bit more about your journey at VEGA. Okay, so I just want you to please just tell us a little bit more about your journey at VEGA as a student.
Okay, yeah, so I did my 3 years in the beginning at VEGA Pretoria as well. And then I did my honors last year at VEGA Pretoria as well. So yes, it's been absolutely amazing from day one. I felt so welcomed, so supported, really learned a lot, and you guys have really just prepared me for my job that I'm currently in now.
That is awesome. And tell us a bit more about the job that you're currently in. What are you currently busy with?
So I'm currently an interior designer at a company called Create in Sandton. So we are known for our contemporary clean lines and timeless designs in high-end residential and commercial spaces. We also have our own range of furniture, which we can also customize. Yeah, so we've that's been really interesting, the furniture side of it as well. Been loads of fun.
Oh, that is awesome. So tell me, considering that you completed your honors, the BA honors in interior design, correct?
Yeah.
How did that qualification best prepare you for the current position that you're in?
So yeah, I definitely think that VEGA prepared me well with regards to time management, as well as stress and the reality of the work world. Vega really just provided me with the best skills to manage my time effectively and be able to work under pressure. In addition, Vega provided the best environment for us as students to embrace our creativity, to push the boundaries and to experiment with the different design styles. You guys really helped me to find my design voice and my passion and my style, which I've been able to take into my job right now. And I've also, when walking into the industry, I really just felt like I had a good understanding of what was required and expected. I knew and understood the programs, which has helped me become useful to the company, not only in the design department, but also in the marketing, business, presentation department. So it's really been really helpful to become very valuable to the company in that sense, is that I'm very versatile and able to kind of do anything that they throw at me, you know. So that's really been helpful, and Vega has really prepared me for that. Definitely.
Oh, that is amazing, Talisa. So considering that you've gained so much life skills and all these things that you're now able to implement in your new position, would you recommend the Vega qualification, the BA Honours in Interior Design, to other students that have the degree in Interior Design?
Yes, I would 100% recommend it. I found that in South Africa, it is very important to have as high qualification as possible. It just gives you that extra edge when looking for a job. And I found that Vega really encouraged us last year to do internships during our honours year, which they were very accommodating to the students who were interning while studying. And that was just, it just really helped when looking for work this year to have that extra bit of qualification and also a year of experience, because a lot of companies are looking for experience. So it really just helped in that sense. To be honest though, when doing the honours, it was a bit daunting in the beginning, because I think as designers we prefer the creative, practical side to studies, and in the beginning the research tasks for the honours was very daunting. However, Vega was very good in providing lecturers that helped every step of the way and explained all of the research terminology. Vega provides a team of experienced supervisors who are currently in the industry themselves, and that really helped. I will never forget my supervisor, JD, who helped me so much. And it really just supported us throughout the whole way. And also the honours at Vega pushed my critical thinking and problem-solving skills. We were taught to challenge the conventional design thinking and develop refined and innovative design methodologies that consider the impact and effectiveness of interior solutions. So the honours course just really just gave me that extra confidence when walking into the industry, and that extra edge and a different way of thinking. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, Talisa, for giving us that wide perspective of what really goes down in the honours program. And thank you so much for taking this time just to give us feedback of how life has been after school and completing your honours. Thank you so much, and we wish you all the best for future endeavours.
Thank you.
You're welcome. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, future Veganites. Thank you for joining our virtual postgraduate evening. My name is Stephanie Philander, and I'm a contact navigator at the IIE-VEGA Cape Town campus. My role as a contact navigator is to assist and guide you through your application and registration at the IIE-VEGA school. I form part of a dedicated contact navigator team across all 5 campuses, and we are ready and waiting to assist you in taking the first step in starting your postgraduate journey at IIE-VEGA school. If you would like to reach out to a contact navigator, it's simple. 1. You can email your campus of interest using the email address on screen now, or 2. You can submit a callback request or an inquiry on the VEGA website. One of our contact navigators will give you a call ASAP. Once you are ready to apply, simply visit the VEGA website and click on Apply Now. Complete the application form and pay your application fee. The early bird application fee is 700 Rand. Please remember to have a digital copy of your ID as well as your latest transcripts handy. You can now conveniently upload all supporting documents with your online application. Once your application has been submitted, a contact navigator will be in touch with you regarding your application status. Should you be applying for the BA Honours in Graphic Design or the BA Honours in Interior Design, your contact navigator will brief you on the portfolio requirements and arrange for an interview with an academic navigator. After your submission has been approved, you will receive a letter confirming your application, and your final step will be to register. Our contact navigators will be there to guide you every step of the way. We look forward to welcoming you to one of the IIE's Crayon Bright Spaces.
Ready? Okay. Now, more than ever, in a world of uncertainty, we reflect. Never before has our planet needed change makers and game changers more. Those who refuse to accept, roll over, settle. Now more than ever, we need bravery. Say no to apathy, to indifference, to what can I do? To being beat. Now's the time to rise up, rise above, say yes to passion. Compassion is in fashion. Dash in forward, upwards and towards a future we want to live in. Pick up the pen. Now more than ever, we need creative minds, strategic leaders, brands built with purpose, businesses that look beyond the bottom line, who see sustainability as the starting line. It's time to rethink. Good thing us thinkers have been staring out of windows our whole lives, imagining better. Imagine that. An idea that changes the world is inside you. Now more than ever, there's hope. A hope that the greatest generation is coming up. A generation not defined by age, but by what it leaves behind. Now more than ever.
Be the greatest.
The greatest.
The greatest. The greatest generation.
Generation.
Ebang moluko o iphethile.
Be the best generation.
Ebang maitapele wa kamoso.
Iba sa sona sungulwana stabilei. Be the greatest generation.
Be the greatest generation.
Be the greatest generation.